my biggest concern that I've seen over the last 6, 8 months, I would say very recently, is a certain lack of opposition to the steady rise of anti-Semitism coming from the left. Right? There was a ton of outrage, legitimate, justifiable outrage and critique in the wake of Kanye West's comments, but in my opinion, a very muted reaction when figures on the left begin to spew their version of anti-Semitism. When figures like Roger Waters, and I was a big Floyd fan for many, many years, the Hadid sisters, and others on the left are openly declaring that Israel is a modern-day Nazi Germany. There are repercussions to statements like that. It affects the way people think, not simply of Israel, but of Jews. The blowback from corporations, from government officials and celebrities is nowhere near the level that was just directed against Kanye West. And Adidas, and I'm going to mispronounce the company, Valencia. These are two companies that basically dropped Kanye West, and they both just launched ad campaigns led by Bella Hadid. And we need to be aware of that. There's a human rights attorney, Arsen Ostrovsky, who led a campaign to get Adidas. It took about 6-7 days for Adidas to drop Kanye West. And he called Adidas' decision to hire Hadid the height of hypocrisy, that they've simply replaced one anti-Semite for another. And I just want to explain it. This is my theory. The reason I think we get more exercised about anti-Semitism coming from the right is because the terminology is about Jews. So when you hear somebody saying something nasty about those Jews, okay, so that it smacks of anti-Semitism, bam, it hits you right in the face. But when Bella Hadid or the left vilify Israel, or they call her an apartheid state, a Nazi government, they get a pass because it just sounds like they're critiquing a foreign government. And Israel is not above being critiqued. Israel is not perfect. It's a democracy that invites criticism. Okay, but and certainly the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is very complicated, and it's not the time to get into it. But we need to know, we need to understand that when those comments are made by, celebrities or government officials, they have an impact, and it affects New York Jews on the street. If you remember the uptick in anti-Semitism last year, I had a friend who was stopped in the middle of the street and beaten up. And when they were yelling out, they weren't yelling out Jew, they were yelling out Israel. And even though we're 6,000 miles away, people don't make that distinction. And we shouldn't, because Israel is the Jewish state. And so calling Israel a Nazi state is basically the same as calling a Jew a Nazi. We need to see the two as the same. And I believe that if we did, we would be as outraged, by the anti-Semitism that's coming from the left and that's increasing, as the terrible things Kanye West or any white supremacist might say. And I think that's a really, really important, I really wanted to shine a little of a spotlight on that.